Hi, welcome everyone to the Bio World Live. I'm Kamal, co-founder of Ideal and Bio World. Bio World is essentially Ogly initiative to bring back best practices in SynBio in India and promote synthetic biology for school and college students. Today we have two students of IIT Madras. One is Ovia BTECH in Biological Engineering and Vedavi BS in Medical Science and Engineering. Two different programs, both related to the same field, both second year and part of iGEM. With that, we'll start with them one by one. What does these program entails? How to select which one is best suited for one's interest. So, Ovia, going to you first. Tell us about how you come to this path, like where you done your schooling, how you pick this, and what are the exams that you have taken, what were the variables before selecting this program?
Okay, so I was in Greenwood from 7th to 12th, 7th to 11th, and then in Dean's from 11th to 12th. And I think this main interest in like bio started around 8th grade when I had really good bio teachers throughout, which probably contributed to it. But in 11th, when we started doing a little bit more into genetics, I realized this was actually my passion. Like, I realized that I really enjoyed learning about genetics, about the DNA, about how even a small change in one nucleotide has such devastating effects. So I realized this was something I wanted to go into. And at the same time, I was preparing for JEE Advance for IIT, and I was also aiming for IAC. So I wrote both ISER aptitude test for all the ISERs and IAC, and I wrote Advance as well. And then finally, I chose IIT Madras Biological Engineering because I really liked the program and I wanted to explore like kind of the engineering aspect as well. Because I was not completely sure if I wanted to go completely into research. So yeah.
Well, and for this program specifically, so I'm assuming that the current program is equivalent to say BTech in biotech and other colleges, or is it a bit different from others? That's one. B, is there a prerequisite of taking biology in say schools to pursue this program?
No, not really, because advanced does not test you on your bio knowledge at all. So we did have a introductory level course in our first year in bio for your bioengineering. So I think students who are thinking of pursuing this, they shouldn't really think of the fact that they didn't do bio in 11th and 12th being a setback. If they're really passionate about it, then I would say go for it. What was your other question? Sorry, your other part?
Yeah, so one was related to the program itself, whether biology was a prerequisite or not.
No, yeah, that I answered. The other thing, the difference, I think the other IITs offer slightly different variants. I remember IIT Delhi being a more biochemical, so it was more of a chemical engineering with a little of a bio aspect. So I think in all the other programs that I saw in the other IITs, this felt more suited to a kind of combination of pure bio as well as an engineering aspect without having this more chemical knowledge. Yeah.
Okay. If you want to explain your program to say someone who doesn't know about it, how will you explain what essentially your program is all about?
So I think the bioengineering program, it offers a lot of room for you to pursue what aspect of bio you really want, because the first few core courses that you have are like some common courses, like you'll do like physics, math, everything with the other departments, and then there are a few like very specific courses like bioprocess engineering, biochemical thermodynamics and stuff like that, which become very similar to your chemical engineering courses. After that, it's some few like pure bio courses like microbiology, biochemistry, and then students almost have like they have a lot of what do you say, freedom to like pursue different electives. So I'm thinking of taking cancer bio next sem, vascular bio. So you can like start looking out for different courses and figuring out which field you really want to specialize in within bio. So it offers a lot of room for that. I
Interesting.
hope
You're
that.
saying essentially the fundamental difference is that it offers a lot of flexibility as compared to other bio programs in other IITs or other colleges.
So I didn't really explore their programs that much in detail to know what happens in their final years as well. But as far as I know, our department does offer us a lot of flexibility. That's what I was trying to say.
Where coming to you, Vedvi, I think You tell us about your journey, correct? How you done schooling and why you took this program. And I believe it's a very recent program, correct? As
Yes.
compared to biomedical engineering. Because taking new program is always like a, parents are worried. You are also worried, like what will happen. You don't have a future,
Yeah.
like a senior to talk about, correct? That you can
Hmm.
the guidance. So tell us about what does it take to get into this program and why someone take this program.
Okay, so I had done my schooling in Eltra International School in Pune, which was earlier called as Global Indian International School. And from a young age, from school itself, I was really drawn to science in general because, how things worked and how different systems fit together, that really fascinated me. Then in 11th and 12th, I took PCMB. I took both math and bio because I thought that I really wanted to go into research. So I thought that in order to go into research, having a good foundation in both math and bio is kind of a necessity. But what really fascinated me was molecular genetics and genetic engineering. Like Ovia said, like minor changes at the microscopic level, how they affect your body at on a large scale level. That was something that really fascinated me. And I was also curious about how we could integrate, these biological principles with technology or with engineering, and how this can be applied in the field of healthcare. That was something that really fascinated me. And that curiosity, it eventually led me to, choose BS in medical sciences and engineering. Also, this program was like they started this program in 2023. So I'm a part of the first batch for this program. So for me, I found the course curriculum to be really interesting because it offers a unique blend of both medicine and engineering. So we are expected to learn anatomy, physiology, and all of the metabolic processes, biochemistry, and all of that. And along with that, we're also expected to learn engineering principles. Like we are expected to learn fluid mechanics or like biomechanics and all of those subjects. So our program is a highly interdisciplinary program which acts as a bridge between medicine and engineering. So for me, I knew that it was a big risk considering that we are the first batch and they had just started this department. But I took this risk because it was something that I was genuinely interested in. And I just wanted to see, how things would turn out. But again, like you mentioned, uh, like there was no well-defined future as such. But I think it's all about taking the risk and just choosing what you're interested in at the end of the day. And if you're really passionate about something, eventually you'll find a path in that. And that will ultimately lead you to your goals. That's what I felt. So that's why I took this risk of joining the first batch for this program.
Interesting. And how does the admission procedure look like? So, is it through IIT, JEE? Is it from other exams? So, what does it take to get into this program?
So the mode of entry for this program is ICER aptitude test. So ICER aptitude test has physics, chemistry, math, and bio. So unlike JEE Advanced, where it's only PCM, ICER aptitude test has PCMB. So for a program, they haven't explicitly mentioned that biology is a prerequisite. But then for ICER aptitude test, since you would require a good score to get into this program, it is advised that you learn biology at least like 2-3 months before this exam as a part of the preparation. So PCM, if you study it for the JE level, I think that is more than enough. But biology, it's not like the NEET biology. So NEET biology is more of, studying from NCRT and sticking to the facts which are mentioned in the textbook. But for ICER aptitude test, it's more conceptual. So I think that you would need to practice some past year papers for that to get, a strong conceptual understanding of biology. And they'll ask questions related to that. So yeah.
Uh, just to me, look, I given a JEE, I don't give it an ISR. For this ISR exam, what does the end goal look like? So they helps to get into admission in ISR. Now this program, what are the other options from this program?
So ICER aptitude test, yeah, like you said, first of all, you can get into ICERs. So they offer programs in pure sciences. And I think ICER Bhopal also offers some program in engineering. Then you can get in MST, Medical Sciences and Technology, through this program. And also, I think they have offered a BS in chemistry in IIT Madras. for which the mode of entry is again ICER aptitude test.
Just to add, it's also now they've started because KVPY was recently removed. It's also an
Mhm.
entry point for IAC as
For
well
I, yeah, for sure.
from our batch, that the 23 batch on.
Okay, the KY might be the fellowship which they give the scholarship and all, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was
So
removed from 2023. So from that year onwards, IAC was ISER aptitude was a mode of entry for IAC as well.
I see Bangalore. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
So like it's one of the modes of entry. So they
So
have
now it's become like the alternative to JEE for the biology students, or we were going for bio, like a pure sciences program in India.
mm, kind of, yeah.
What are the other colleges you both were considering?
So for me, I
Because I believe IIT Madras will be like the option, correct? But obviously, there's always a scope of if you score say 10 marks less, you may not able to get it. Correct. So what
no,
was
for
your
me it was like
backup
quite the
option?
opposite actually, because
Okay.
I didn't really know that IIT Madras offered, uh, biotech. I didn't know that IITs in general they offered a degree in biotech. So for me, it was like I never really wanted to get into an IIT because I always thought that they were just pure engineering colleges, and I didn't really want to do a pure engineering degree. So for me, the options were ICERS, IISc, and this program I got to know about it like 1 month before ICER aptitude test. So that's when I started considering this program. Yeah.
And what about other alternatives like BSc and all? No consideration for them?
Uh, like yeah, I wanted to do a BSMS in biology from ICER Pune. Like that was my main goal because I think that after evaluating different ICERs, I just thought that ICER Pune was the best for me. So I wanted to do something in ICER Pune. But after I came across this program, I sort of changed my mind. Like I was like either I'll go for ICER Pune or I'll do this degree in IIT Madras.
Fair,
Yeah, and obviously IISc is like the topmost option that you would always consider.
fair.
Yeah.
Ovia?
Yeah, actually, my dream college in the beginning actually was IAC. Um, then it was so the options were either IAC, ICERS, or probably like biotech in any of the IITs. Finally, I did get IAC as well. I did get the ICERS that I wanted, and then I got IIT Madras, and then it was a decision that I had to make. And I chose. I think I chose IIT Madras because of the reasons that I mentioned earlier. That I wasn't completely sure if I wanted to do research, and IIC meant a more research oriented like mode of study. So then it came down to IIT Madras.
Fair. Now it's been like almost 2 years to both of you, correct? Now it's like 2 years are over, correct? So you will be going your summer internship and all. So tell me, what's your undergrad journey look like? What you learned, correct? What was special? What was the thing that you think, oh, it doesn't really suit? So what works for you till today? What doesn't work? And what are you doing in your summers? Like, how does your plan look like till now? Anyone, Ovia, you can go.
Yeah, so till now, I would say I've had a lot of time to do other things as well, like to basically figure out what I really wanted to do. So I started working in a professor's lab as well, doing a prof project, and that's given me a lot of wet lab experience, very useful wet lab experience as well. And I've really enjoyed it. So I think it's solidified the notion that I want to pursue bio in the future. It's a project based on genetics. And then also I've been part of the iGEM team, a lot of wet lab experience, a lot of like lit review. I've gained a lot of skills that I think would be very, very useful if at all I decided to pursue a PhD. Other than that, this summer I got selected for the Amgen program, so I'm going to NUS for 3 months.
Uh, and US Singapore?
Sorry?
And US Singapore?
Yeah, NUS Singapore.
This is a summer internship over there.
Yeah.
And what does it entails? What will you be covering over there?
So I'll be doing a project on molecular neuroscience. So more about the role of certain molecules in the process of synapses and about how this binding between different proteins is affecting this entire process. Yeah, mainly that.
And so is it a program under a professor or is it like a university-led program
No,
for
so Amgen is a pharmaceutical company.
Right.
and they have different so this is a really really famous program. They have units. I think they have something called Amgen Europe that covers a lot of famous Europe colleges, Amgen US, which covers stuff like Stanford, all those top colleges, and Amgen Asia, which covers four Asian colleges, NUS, University of Tokyo, Kyoto University, and Tsinghua. And so you apply for this program, and then they choose, I think, close to 10 students for each college from across Asia.
Okay. And what does the batch look like for you? So out of 10 students, where they're coming from in US, Singapore?
So two of us are from India. The rest are scattered all over Asia. Some of them are from, I think, Kazakhstan. One of them is from China, I think. Someone is from Singapore itself. Yeah, I don't remember it well.
And from India, who's like which college or the student is from?
I not very sure right now, but I think IIT BHU.
Oh, do they have something in biological engineering?
They have a biomedical program, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. What about you, Vedya? Like what you learned, acquired these 2 years, which are quite interesting, which were not interesting, and also going forward this summer, what's your plan? What you're doing?
So yeah, within these 2 years in IIT Madras, I was more focused on the coursework that our program gave. So we had courses ranging from, anatomy to biochemistry to mechanics, fluid mechanics, then um, signaling systems and all of that stuff. So I think that since these courses were very new and they are being offered for the first time, I decided to be more focused on the coursework. Like Ovia said, she worked in a professor's lab. I didn't really choose to work in a professor's lab, but then I applied for iGEM because that was something that I was really interested in. And, at the end of the day, my interest is to work in, the domain of wet lab. So I applied for iGEM. And so in our first year, we did a project on mobilizing silicon from a co-culture and how we would utilize Martian soil for that to create paracetamol. That was a project that we worked on in our first year. Then, other than that, I was like still focused on whatever coursework we had, and in general, the other co-curricular aspect as well. I think I was invested in a lot of my other hobbies as well. I got to explore my other hobbies in campus. And my plan for this summer is, so we are being offered a compulsory internship in a hospital as a part of our program. So I would be working under Dr. Suresh Sheshadri, who is one of the leading perinatologists and he works in the field of fetal ultrasound. So I would be working under him, and I'm hoping to gain more experience in, medical imaging and medical image processing. So yeah, that is my plan for the summer. And other than that, I would also be working for the iGEM project, which we are doing this year as well. So I am hoping to gain experience in working with mammalian cells under Professor Mayappan, and also some experience in working with E. coli systems under Professor Arumuga.
Also, you mentioned about it. You're going to be working with a physician, especially image labbing, correct, for the fetal ultrasound or
Yes.
fetal imaging. Which hospital it is?
So it's a hospital called VHS in Chennai itself.
Okay, so for this program, does IIT as partner with other hospitals? Does IIT have their own hospital?
No. So for our program, we actually have an MOU signed with a couple of hospitals in Chennai. So in collaboration with those hospitals, this internship is being offered to us. So a lot of students, they're working in collaboration with Sri Ramchandra Medical College or Madras Medical Mission. So there are these different hospitals that we are with.
Well, I think A in general, Indian universities has this problem, correct? None of them is such a big scale that they have both things in house. But look at
Yes.
Stanford, Harvard. They have a it's a huge space. B, they have integrated program. They have their own hospitals, correct, running quite a
True.
scale. So you don't need to go externally. But I believe that may be the future, correct? They eventually realize that they need to open their own hospitals to really do a more in-hand experience. Now, so what does the goal look like? So you're gonna learn about imaging. You're gonna learn about these instruments. I believe I read about your course curriculum. So one of the key output, or the one I guess the professors and all spoke about, is that India import lot of medical equipment from outside. A, the idea is that can we create our own? B, do we have people enough to really work on them and
Mm,
improvise them, correct? Not just use as them as it is. That's
right.
like two, three goals out of the many ones. How does it really map? So what they are training you about these, and what this essential this summer project entails about?
So yeah, that's a good question. So throughout our summer internship, we would be taken to hospitals to identify a certain set of problems that doctors are facing over there. And based on that, we are required to ideate on projects. So it can be either in the field of device development, or it could be in the field of image processing, where you would need to come up with optimum algorithms that can, segregate images and classify them and diagnose them. Or we could be involved in device development. Like you said, that India is facing a problem of, not having our own manufacturing companies for making medical devices, or maybe they're not the best in the world. And as compared to the healthcare systems in other countries, India is lagging a bit, not in terms of brain power, but in terms of the equipment that is available to us. So our department, the goal of our department is to, bridge this gap between brain power and industry. So our summer internship also, it sort of wants us to identify these existing problems, these existing loopholes which are there, and they want us to come up with innovative solutions for that.
Fair, interesting. Now tell me, both of you, like, what's your best case future aspirations are? Like, what, let's suppose if you're gonna go ahead with best cases, correct? Where do you want to be in, say, 1 year? 1 year, obviously, 2 years you will be in colleges, correct? But let's suppose, is it a academia? Is it corporate startup? What do you think like the best case look like if you have all the energy, all the resources possible? Where do you want to be, both of you? Ovia, you go ahead.
I think right now the main goal is to probably do my master's in a really good university. Probably, I think like my dream college right now would be something like UC Berkeley, John Hopkins, one of these top universities. After that, whether I'll do my PhD or not is still, I'm not really sure. But there is a very high chance I'll do my PhD, and then I think I might go into corporate, like a pharmaceutical company as a research scientist or something like that.
Okay, so you are essentially looking at top US colleges, correct?
Yeah.
Fair. Whether we.
So for me, I'm not really planning to go into the corporate field because I'm more inclined towards higher studies and research. So for me, I am more interested in, like, as I said, genetic engineering, regenerative medicine, and how, that can be applied in healthcare. So yeah, I would be looking forward to do a master's and a PhD in this field. And if possible, I would also like to work as a research scientist under the research and development fields of, different companies. Like, I am not really enthusiastic about, going into corporate in the managerial aspect, but then I would really love to work in the R&D departments of big companies who are working on regenerative medicine or stem cells or something like that.
Okay. Fair, interesting. Now tell me about your program. So both of you have similar, not exactly same program. How much your program entails like common? Do you have common programs? Maybe the foundation level or some electives which are common, like both of you can take, or you totally work in a different, although both biological sciences, but don't talk to each other. Or there are programs which talk to each other, like courses.
The electives are actually like open for all. Like any department can take it. Like I think this time Vaidehi is taking like a stem cells elective, which is open for even bioengineering,
But
biosciences.
isn't like these program would have some sort of prerequisite, and mostly the core engineers able to fulfill that prerequisite.
So I think that so both of our courses they have like both of our programs they have these foundational level courses. So for uh, BTech and biological engineering, they have foundational courses in physics, math, biology, and chemistry in the first years. For us, we have foundational courses in anatomy, microbiology, immunology, then mechanics, then electrical systems. We have foundational courses in these. So from our side, uh, we sort of have already fulfilled these prerequisites which are required for us to take biotech courses. And even so, in our department, we don't really have uh, a compulsion of taking a prerequisite since our courses being offered are very new. So it's pretty much open to all branches. So people from biological engineering can take our courses freely. And I have been taking courses from the biotech department as well, which align with my own interests. And also there are, certain overlapping courses which focus on biomedical engineering. So the biotech department has courses related to human physiology or molecular therapeutics. They have some courses related to that. And I think that is like an overlapping part between biological engineering and medical sciences and technology. But biotech is more focused towards like industrial biotech, but ours is like more into translational research in the field of clinical engineering or in the field of health.
Well, I think I can't ask one question to Vedavi that like what your future the seniors are doing, correct? That what career paths they have taken. But tell me about more about your juniors, correct? Because I believe there'll be 1 year junior to you. What was the bench
Yeah.
strength of your batch? What's the strength of your juniors? And yeah, so how's the take in general, not of yours, but of the program in itself? Like people who take this program, are they happy? Are they thinking, okay, I took this path correct? Or were there more intakes, more interest after first year? Because you
Hmm.
were the first year, correct? There's no at all any idea about the program. Now people have more idea. So
Yeah.
are people coming to you with these questions that look, what does program really entails? Because I may be curious, but I want to know because I don't know someone else.
Hmm. So our juniors, they are also like pretty much interested in the core field of tech healthcare. So they have like a better system for acads and for labs in general. So for us, since even our professors were teaching these courses for the first time, so I think there was a certain gap maybe from our side as students in understanding what the professors were trying to teach us. But for the juniors, I think that since they have resources which we used for our courses, they have a much better foundational understanding of whatever courses are being offered by the department. And also in terms of labs, so we usually go to different hospitals for labs related to biochemistry or microbiology to understand, how this actually works in the healthcare system rather than, just from a pure sciences perspective. So, like in our first year, we went to Sri Ramchandra Medical College and we observed different cadavers and we also observed labs related to biochemistry and microbiology. So I think that is there for our juniors as well. So since labs are being set up in our department as well, which have all of these healthcare aspects as well. So in our department, we have synthetic cadavers and also all of these digital simulation systems for surgeries. So I think our juniors, they have like a better exposure to all of these simulation systems which are there as opposed to us because we had to like physically go and visit different hospitals in order to get an exposure for our coursework. Our juniors, they have like a better exposure to all of this since all the equipment is present in our department, so they don't have to do all of the travel and go to different hospitals. So in our department, we have different simulation systems for surgeries, so like ultrasound simulation or laparoscopy simulation. Then we also have synthetic cadavers, and we also have like a digital anatomy learning kit called Anatomage, where you can observe different systems of the body, like vascular systems or the muscular system, on a digital board. So that is like a much more enhanced experience for our juniors, I would say.
Well, and what was the strength of your program? Like how many students were there?
So for our batch, we have 28 students. For our juniors have like 31 students in their batch.
Okay, so marginal increase in number if
Yeah.
fair. So And for these program, like for experimentation and all, so when you used to go to the first year, you have to take a prior permission. How this permission? So was it integrated that okay, I'm gonna visit this hospital this day, or they allocate you that okay, you can come only on Friday for these labs and all?
So yeah, like they would allocate us different days for which we had to go to these hospitals. So our department already has an MOU signed with Sri Ramchandra Medical College. So we had professors from their medical college as well would come and teach us. So they allocated, a certain days on which certain afternoons, like from 2 to 5, we would go to the hospital and visit their labs and learn. Yeah.
Interesting. Ovia, so you already are seniors, correct? A,
Yes.
what's your strength look like? B, what your seniors are doing, correct? Your say third year where they're going for internship, and the fourth year where they're going for placement in terms of a job, in terms of maybe their PhD or masters.
Okay. My batch strength, like combining the biological sciences plus biological engineering, is around 80. Biological engineering alone is around 40. And seniors, so there's two ways. Either people go into core or they go into non-core. Mainly, if the seniors go into core, they prefer to go to their PhD, because till last year it was a 5 year, till the 22 batch, it was a 5 year BTech plus MTech integrated. I'm the first batch where it's just a BTech program. So because of that, since they've already finished their MTech, they prefer to just directly do their PhD. A lot of them go for PhDs in like really good universities like UC Berkeley, Georgia Tech, etc. A few of them, whoever go into placements but want to go into core companies, go into companies like AstraZeneca, Inito, Biocon. And then again, there's the non-core options like finance, quant, etc. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Now, tell me about so A, you have iGEM, correct? Is there any other club or society which is it like a tech for bio students, or is it only iGEM?
There's two. There's the Biotech Club. We are called a competition team, and they're a club. They have a bunch of projects and they host some events as well. And then there's also the Biotech Research Club. They are involved in they also bring in a few speakers, and then they do some lab visits and things like that.
Okay, but that's more like a social activity, correct? Inviting speakers, visiting labs. Do they do actually like do any competition or they don't participate at all?
I don't think they participate in any competition.
Same for you, Vedvi?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I think so. How's your iGEM competition look like? A, when you decided you want to do iGEM, what you aware about iGEM before going to schools, like before going to colleges? Because iGEM also is a school path, correct? Though obviously in India, I don't think any school participate per se. It's mostly Chinese, Hong Kong or other countries. India only, top IITs, ISR or ISCs participate or ICT, Mumbai. So when you get to aware about iGEM, and A, in the last 2 years, what you learned out of iGEM and how was that experience, what you have done, which was totally different from your program paths, which help you a lot, which your program was not really help. Yeah, any one of you, Vedvi, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So before coming to IIT Madras, I didn't really know much about iGEM. After coming here, so I met a few seniors from BT, and even my friend from BT, they were mentioning about this competitive team called iGEM, where they actually got to work with bacteria and do a lot of cool stuff in labs. So I got interested in that. And so when they released the applications for project members, I decided to apply for that because, like, as I said, at the end of the day, I want to work in the wet lab domain. So I decided to apply for iGEM as a wet lab member, and thankfully I got in. So as a part of iGEM in our first year, so as I said, we worked on a project where we had to mobilize silicon from Martian soil using a co-culture system. So as a part of that, we got to work with bacterial systems, and we also got to work with these microscopic algae called diatoms. So as a part of that, we got to learn different biochemical assays. We got to perform these biochemical assays on these bacterial cultures and diatom cultures. And at the same time, we got more exposure to the genetic engineering part of it. So where we performed plasmid isolation using these different toolkits. So that was something which I don't think I would have learned through my own course, my own program. So that is something very different that I learned. And then in our second year, we are working on a project related to epigenetics. So that is again, we are using a CRISPR-Cas9 system to regulate gene expression at the epigenetic level. So as a part of that, we so in our first year, we were project members, right? So in the second year, we sort of, got promoted to one level higher. So both me and Ovia, we are one of the few wet lab heads for Ryzen. So we had to, ideate the project and then ideate a pipeline for the wet lab project. What experiments would you conduct? What systems would you work with? Then ordering plasmids and all of that stuff. So we are getting a really good exposure to how you would actually conduct a project in a lab as a part of a research project. So this year we are working on mammalian cells, specifically CHO cells, and we're also working on E. coli system. And a lot of genetic engineering is also involved since we would be working with CRISPR-Cas9 systems. So I am not sure if I would have learned all of this through my own coursework. And being a part of iGEM has really shaped my research interest, and it has given me a good amount of wet lab experience, which I could maybe use while applying for different internships in different colleges for different projects. Yeah.
Well, just for out of curiosity, how many number of students are in iGEM, and how does the split look like? First year, second year, third year, and what's the selection criteria? If let's suppose, someone within IIT Madras want to be iGEM, a part of iGEM team. What they need to do? Do you have any selection criteria, or is like whoever applies they get into it?
No, no. So it's not like whoever applies, they get into it. So we have like a selection process. So first, they have to write an application where they are given certain tasks, where they have to do some literature review, or they have to plan an experiment, or they need to come up with justifications for why this particular experiment is being done for the project. They need to even ideate their own iGEM project as a part of their application. So, we can test how good of an understanding they have about synthetic biology and genetic engineering. And based on their level of understanding, we take interviews again to, sort of scrutinize their project and get to know how well of a foundational understanding they have and how good would their growth curve be. So based on that, we recruit project members. Then, so these project members are in their first year. Then the second level is heads. Then again, usually these heads would be people who have worked with iGEM before. So they would usually they would be project members themselves, or there are some people who we can take from lateral entry as well. So they would have had their own experiences working in different professors' labs. So for heads, it's like managerial plus technical. So you need to see how well they can manage a team and how well can they ideate projects and how can they come up with an experimental pipeline to follow throughout the year, and how does this fit in accordance with the iGEM competition in itself. And then the third level is cores. So they are like the team leads. They're like the overall leads of the entire team. So again, they take care of the managerial aspect, like especially when it comes to like ordering different equipment or different cultures, different strains of bacteria for the project. So theirs is more of like a managerial part. Again, heads are from second years and cores are from third years. So they get recruited while they are in their second year and third year. And so the tenure, it goes on for 1 year. So if you are a project member, your tenure will start at the end of your first year and it will go on till the middle of your second year. So that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay. Ovia?
Yeah, like she mentioned, I think a lot of the wet lab experience that I gained in my first year, because I spent almost my entire first year summer in the campus instead of at home because I was working on the project. I got a lot of experience that I don't think I'd have got in my first year without iGEM. And also, it did give me a lot of exposure. Even the seniors who were part of iGEM, they were very, very helpful. So they did give me a lot of insights into like anything that I want to ask them now about any courses or about foreign interns, anything I can readily like go and talk to them. They're very, very helpful. So I think overall, iGEM just helped me gain a lot of perspective on what I really want to do. It gave me the necessary skills as well. Yeah, I think mainly these two things.
So, if I get it right, correct? So, IGEM is a competition which gives you a lot of practical exposure, correct? Especially, I believe, for biological interested students. And it like a add on to whatever you're doing in your college, correct? Because otherwise, most of the projects that you have, even though there are a lot of projects, but they're not very integrated, and a number of people doing the project limited to say three, four, five. Here you get a full team, so you get a hand-on exposure to research and picking your own research, correct? Working with a team and even finance and also maybe what you will do eventually, maybe in 6, 7, 8 years, you get a hands-on to them quite earlier. Also, one more question, like I'm from IIT Delhi, and I work with a lot of IITs, especially for debate societies and for various other purpose. I think at least for the iGEM, a lot of IITs do send their teams, but none of them been so consistent as IIT Madras, correct? Obviously, IIC Bangalore is consistent, ISR is consistent, but all other IITs are not consistent. What is that IIT Madras, say iGEM teams do well so that the junior or the continuity stays as compared to at least other colleges that I know? Because biological, at least the biotech is there in multiple colleges. IIT Delhi is being one of them. But I think their iGEM team keep struggling year on year, correct? One day year to able to go, next year not able to go. So what your seniors have done well, which works for you guys.
I think personally there's this like as soon as you come, at least for those students who really are enthusiastic about bio and who came in wanting to pursue like pure bio or wanting to do something in the lab, for them at least, the immediate seniors they talk to, they will probably tell them apply for iGEM because it's one of the best ways to actually gain experience, given that a lot of professors are not willing to let you into their labs so early in the first year. This gives you that kind of push up above others. And so this definitely will look good on your resume when you're applying for like foreign interns in your second year and stuff. I think iGEM did play a role for me getting into Amgen because otherwise I didn't have a lot of other experience other than this in the professor's project. So yeah.
And also adding to that, like iGEM is a one competition which is like pan globe, correct? Teams from even Singapore are participating, teams even from US are participating. So they know the common terminology, correct? They are also gonna go for the same competition. I guess most of the good colleges have program in bio do apply for them. So it become a common terminology, a lot of things that they can sort of even okay, they have done iGEM, so they know at least these certain things if they qualify for certain level, correct? If you apply for this medal and all. Yeah. Now, last is I think IIT Guwahati launched a new program, if I'm correct. They launched a similar program as BS in Medical Sciences with AIMS and one more college based out of that. Uh, what do you think whether we needed to really make your program more practical? If let's suppose if you have any recommendation to people designing this program future.
Um, so actually, in terms of the program, I think our course curriculum is really well designed. So they have covered all aspects, from the engineering aspect to the clinical aspect. So as it's mentioned on our website, so this program, it offers an engineering's perspective to clinicians, and it also offers a clinician's perspective to engineers. So I think that the course curriculum is very well designed to cover all the aspects. In terms of practical exposure, I think that, since this program has been launched for the first time, so it would take, some time to get, a better understanding of what students need, right? So, but for our batch, I think that uh, we would, like to have labs which are, focused towards like molecular therapeutics or something like that. So something which, offers more insight into medical research in terms of wet lab. Because the engineering aspect is like very well covered, like there's no doubt about that. So as a part of our programs, you're also required to come up with, different mathematical models for biological systems. And since biological systems are like the most complex systems out there, so if you're able to model a biological system, you can technically model any system in the world. At least that is like what our professors have explained to us throughout the course, that biological systems are so complex that if you learn how to model a biological system, you can technically model any other system in the world. So I think that the course curriculum is very well designed, and the only input as such that I would like to give is that we could translate this more into medical research when it comes to the wet lab part. Like that is all I would like to say.
Where we have anything in terms of what could be improved in your program?
Sorry, did you ask me? Okay.
Yeah.
My program, I think one thing is that so the change that they made from the 23 from 22 batch to 23 batch, it involved combining a lot of courses together because they had to finish a lot more coursework in lesser years, right? So that meant we did microbiology and biochem as one course, and both of them separately itself are very, very intensive courses. So the overall depth that we gain, I'm not sure if we gained as much as we should have. They even combined things like molecular biology and genetic engineering together. So I'm not very sure. See, it might be useful in one aspect that you gain an overview of these courses and then you decide that you do like this course and you can like pursue courses related to that in a lot more detail. But at the same time, I feel combining these courses was not the best idea because we gained a very shallow like overview of the courses. Other than that, also the labs for our batch at least is starting only from our fifth semester, which is a little late. We gain practical experience very late. So unless you were working in a professor's lab or you were in something like iGEM or like doing a project in the biotech club, you would have not even gone into a lab until your fifth semester, which is not the best, which is not the ideal thing. So I think those are the two main things which is something they need to work on. One really good initiative they've introduced though is for the 24 batch onwards, they have a 6-month internship. So this 6-month internship is very useful, especially for whenever, at least when I was cold mailing professors for like neuro projects, they wanted me to be there for a 6-month period, but I didn't have that flexibility, which my juniors do have, which is a very nice thing that they've actually introduced. Yeah.
Fair. I think at least for the uh, out of the three things, I think that's what most of the IITs have done. It was the same in IIT Delhi. They had a 5-year integrated program, BTech and MTech together. Now they clubbed it into one, like a BTech, and then it's your, interest area whether you want to continue or not. I think related to the second part, correct, that you don't get to do the labs till you are in the second year. That's like really not very optimal. Had you not been into iGEM, you would not have got this internship, correct? Because if you don't have practical exposure, what any professor can you do with? You're doing like a literature review. At best, you're reading things. If you're not, if especially if someone is interested in wet lab, correct? Not doing and even if you're going for a third year internship, then you have only 1 year to prepare and do everything. So the colleges which doesn't have iGEM, it's really become a challenge to really gain hand-on exposure, especially if your program is designed such a way, which I believe is case with majority of the Indian programs, and that's why there are a lot of student in biotech struggle with the theoretical part, not able to get say decent jobs, internship, and all other things. So yeah, I think that's where the iGEM really helps, correct? Especially where even so it kind of add on to helps much more in enhancing the program because you have an alternative to pick that if you want to go further or not. And that's why I personally interested because I've seen a lot of curriculum across colleges, even in private colleges, lot of private colleges in India, and where iGEM helps, where we trying to bring this for the school student in India with our program with you guys, with your society in general. Correct. That's thanks a lot, both Ovia and Vedavi. Now, last question. What you want to say to someone who is in school currently and why they should take your program that you are pursuing, or why they should not take. What the interest that you think that if someone want to do this, then my program is the best path, or if they have something like that in mind, then this is not the program for them.
Okay, so for my program, I think that if you are interested in medicine and you're also interested in the tech aspect of it, like not pure physiology, but you're also interested in the mathematical part or in the tech part where you come up with different devices, or even in terms of like digital medicine or digital healthcare, where you come up with different healthcare devices and personalized medicine as such. If you are interested in that, so basically, if you are interested in interdisciplinary sciences, like not just pure biology, but you're also interested in the math aspect of it, I would really recommend you to take this course, because I feel like this course, it provides, an engineer's perspective to the human body. And that is something, which was like very eye-opening for me. Uh, because like in engineering, you would only look at certain systems, and in biology, you would only look at, the different pathways which are there. But if you combine both of these aspects, it becomes like a really mind-opening perspective for you, where you look at the human body from both these aspects and you're able to design better solutions for whatever problems are existing. So let's say there is a disease. So what a doctor would do is that, so they would just be like, okay, these are the symptoms of the disease. Okay, these are the prescribed medicines. So, and what an engineer would do is that, okay, these are the devices for this disease. So let's say you need to diagnose some disease. So you'll have these MRI or CT machines. So, okay, this is the machine which is there, and you need to design it as such. These are the physical aspects of it. That's it. But as a medical scientist, what you would do is that you would have a good understanding of a doctor's perspective and an engineer's perspective. So you would come up with a more optimum solution as to how this device can be optimized in such a way that diagnosis would be easy. Or even when it comes to drug discovery, you would have a set of different mathematical equations which, model how this disease works for a specific patient. So again, this is also a part of personalized medicine, and you can design drugs accordingly. So I think that what my program offers is the perfect mix of both of these perspectives. So my advice to students would be that if you are interested in both medicine and engineering, again, it's not really possible to, identify this at your 11th or 12th standard. But let's say you are very interested in healthcare, but you don't want to miss out on the math aspect of it. Like you love math and biology both. I would recommend you to take this course. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think personally here, if you are really interested in bio, I think the three main things that are kind of, I think, okay, maybe four main things. One, you could either go into medicine, or you could pursue like this biotech, one of these biotech programs, which in IIT Madras would be either biological engineering or biosciences. Or you could choose one of these BS in biosciences courses, probably in one of these ICERs or ISC. So the advantages of these IIC ISER programs are, if you're really into research, if you know that you want to go into academia for sure, these programs are really, really good. So definitely choose one of them then. If you're not extremely sure if academia is what you want to do, you still want to keep your options open. You want to probably head into a kind of mix of engineering and bio, then probably like you could either choose MST for the reasons that she mentioned, for the reasons that Vaidehi mentioned, or if you're not that much into healthcare and engineering mix, you really like bio, but again, you're not sure, biosciences and bioengineering are very, very good options. The difference between the biosciences and bioengineering, the main thing is biosciences is more of core bio concepts, things like human physio, molecular biology, and all those kind of courses. Whereas this bioengineering offers a more industry aspect as well, things like bioprocess engineering, biochemical thermodynamics. So figure out if you're sure about research, then I think your option is pretty clear. If you're not really sure, maybe biosciences and bioengineering in IIT Madras is probably a very good option.
Hmm. Uh, Thanks, Ovia. Thanks, Vedvi, for the session. I guess it will be helpful for the students. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining today.
Thank you.